So if you have any questions, please type them. I will do my best to answer them. A lot of people who follow my channel are interested in supplements to prevent Alzheimer's disease. And so I'd love to answer any questions about that. So please post your questions in. Thank you for joining. And please let me know how I can be helpful to you in your journey to help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and improve your memory. One supplement that people have been really interested in is called L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine. It's an amino acid, and it's found in protein. And what L-tyrosine does, it's a precursor to a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Now, what is dopamine? You've probably heard of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in focus and attention, reward, motivation, and memory. A lot of ADHD drugs manipulate dopamine. Specifically, they increase it. Sometimes amphetamine, for example, which is what a lot of stimulant medications are, or what they're similar to, amphetamine increases dopamine, and that increases motivation as well as attention and arousal. So L-tyrosine can be helpful for people who are struggling with memory issues or focus issues. I take L-tyrosine a couple times a week, and I definitely take it when I take my ADHD medication. I take Adderall, and I'm prescribed that, and that's been very helpful to me over time. So please let me know if you have any questions. Keep it up. Thank you. Where's the best place to purchase this? The best place to purchase Adderall, you need a prescription, so you need to see a medical doctor or psychiatrist, and they can prescribe it to you. A nurse practitioner might also be able to prescribe it to you. If you want to purchase L-tyrosine, I buy mine online. You go to your favorite online store. You can, I think the brands are pretty much the same. I take Thorne. I like Thorne as a company. I think they have high quality supplements. I'm not sponsored by them. I'd like to be sponsored by them. I'll tell you when I'm sponsored by them. But Thorne, Thorne, they do really good work with supplements. So I get my L-tyrosine from them. Any other questions? Please let me know. Another supplement that I really like that I've talked a lot about is called aniracetam. Aniracetam, that's spelled A-N-I-R-A-C-E-T-A-M. What is aniracetam? Well, it does a couple of things. Number one, it protects your brain from something called glutamate. Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter. Too much glutamate can cause damage in the brain. It protects your brain from too much damage from glutamate, and that's what we find in people with Alzheimer's disease. We find there's an increased risk of damage from glutamate. So one, it protects your brain. Number two, it works on glutamate receptors to protect your brain downstream. So that's kind of cool. And number three, it increases acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. What is acetylcholine? It is what I like to call the master molecule of memory. It is a neurotransmitter involved in the hippocampus. There are a variety of neurotransmitters involved in the hippocampus, including glutamate and dopamine, norepinephrine, GABA, but acetylcholine is a really important one. And so by increasing acetylcholine, it increases your brain's ability to make and access memories. Am I bisexual? That's a really good question. I consider myself heterosexual, but I've kissed men and I find men attractive. So I don't know where that puts me on the spectrum. Any other questions? What would be the best supplement to start with when you're struggling with energy and brain function? So let me finish with aniracetam. Aniracetam is a drug. It is not a supplement. It's a drug. It is not scheduled. So that means it's legal to buy and legal to sell in the United States. It's difficult to find though. I really like it, and I like taking it with my ADHD medication or just to increase focus and attention. And there are double-blind, placebo-controlled studies that show that aniracetam improves memory in those with early-stage Alzheimer's disease. So that's really exciting. So I really like aniracetam. I think aniracetam, when people learn about it, could be a drug that really makes a difference in helping people prevent and even reverse Alzheimer's disease. And I'm conducting research right now to help with that. So what would be the best supplement when you're struggling with energy? So first, if you're struggling with energy, you want to take care of behaviors. If you watch neuroscientist Andrew Huberman from Stanford, he says first you want to start with behaviors and then food and then supplements. I agree. And so first, you want to make sure you're exercising daily and getting good sleep. Those are two really important behaviors. Next, make sure you're eating adequate food. If you're eating poor quality food, supplements really aren't going to make that big of a difference. So I limit grains. I really don't eat grains. I eat mostly protein and fruits and vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables, mostly plant. I eat a plant-rich diet. That's not right for everybody, but you want to eat really healthy food. And then work on supplements. Supplements that are good for energy include magnesium and zinc and vitamin B, a B complex. That's really important not only for brain health but also for energy. So I would start there. But really, exercise and sleep, those are some of the biggest things for energy. You can pin a comment. No, I had my right temple tumor lobe removed, but still have focal epilepsy. Goodness, that sounds really hard, Delaney Scott. I'm very sorry you're going through that. That sounds challenging. So some people want to know about traumatic brain injury or healing the brain. There are there's some really good data around something called oxiracetam, spelled Oxiracetam. And oxiracetam is another drug that is not scheduled, so it's legal to buy, and it's legal to sell, it's legal to have. And what oxiracetam has shown is that it allows your brain, or helps your brain, recover from traumatic brain injury and concussion. That's really exciting. Oxiracetam, along with cinnamon and also along with quercetin, all of those help your brain recover after traumatic brain injury, and I believe after general anesthesia. You've probably known someone who had general anesthesia where they lost memory either temporarily or permanently. It's a really big problem. So oxiracetam, and again, you want to search for that, see what you find. So that might be helpful to you. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor. Check with your medical doctor first. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm sharing the data with you. I had a question about supplements for Alzheimer's disease. There are so many. Here's some categories. One is anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is one of the big causes of Alzheimer's disease. So reducing inflammation, really important. Another one is magnesium. Early research on Alzheimer's disease found that magnesium was deficient in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. So magnesium could be helpful, specifically magnesium threonate, which is small enough to cross the blood-brain barrier. Other supplements that help with Alzheimer's disease include curcumin and cinnamon. These are anti-inflammatory. And then curcumin also helps prevent the accumulation of plaque in the brain. That's a really darn big deal. Lion's mane. Lion's mane is one of my favorites. Lion's mane increases something called BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And basically, what that does is it's a growth hormone, or excuse me, it's not a hormone, it's a growth factor that facilitates the growth of new brain cells and new neural connections. That's a really darn big deal. So lion's mane is great. My favorite brand, I don't have a relationship with the company. It's called Life Cycle, Cykel. Dave Asprey recommended that, and I take that before bed, and I get really cool dreams. So lion's mane is another great supplement. And then so we have anti-inflammatories. That's really important. And then magnesium is really important. Zinc is another mineral that's really important. Zinc protects your brain from oxidative stress and damage. And then the last category is nootropics. Nootropics are drugs or supplements that improve brain function and memory. Aniracetam is in there. I think aniracetam and drugs and supplements that increase acetylcholine deserves its own category for helping with Alzheimer's disease. Alpha GPC is another choline increasing supplement that's really valuable. And then other nootropics. Other nootropics include huperzine A, which increases acetylcholine in the brain. Nootropics like caffeine, L-tyrosine, these things that increase brain function, these are helpful against Alzheimer's disease as well, simply because they increase focus. There's a number of different comments. Let me see if I can scroll back here. Do I recommend black seed oil? I've read some positive things about black seed oil. I don't remember off the top of my head how beneficial it is. So I would do your own research on that one. I haven't taken that myself. Let's see, Vyvanse. I struggle with insomnia. If it's not hormonal, I'm not sure if it's hormonal or side effects of Vyvanse. So number one, I would ask, are you sleeping and are you exercising? So obviously you're not sleeping because you're having trouble with insomnia. Exercise between 3 and 4. Exercise between 15 and 45 minutes a day, and turn off lights, or turn down lights. Ideally, turn off overhead lights. Right now, I have an overhead light on. You want lamps that are kind of eye level or lower. 2 hours before bed, turn off TV and phone 2 hours before bed. Read and listen to music, and try that for a week and have a stable sleep time, a stable wake time. That makes the biggest difference. I've struggled with sleep challenges for years. And the biggest difference I found was simply having a regular bedtime, a regular wake time, and turning off electronics 2 hours before bed. Biggest thing. It's difficult because I want to stay up and watch movies. I want to stay up and be on my phone. And so it's hard to do, and it's worth it because I feel much better. So that could be it. I don't know whether your hormones are keeping you up, but I would stress exercise and regular sleep time and not eating 3 hours before bed. That makes sleep more productive. It could be a side effect of Vyvanse. I took Vyvanse for a while and I had trouble. I felt anxious a little bit during the day. Vyvanse is pretty intense. Some people do great with it, and so I'm not bashing it. I liked it. I like Adderall better. For me, that works better because it's shorter acting. So I would recommend exercise and a steady bedtime. Let's see. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for saying hi. What is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's disease? Really good question. Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia. So dementia includes vascular dementia, which is a fancy way of saying stroke, which is basically your brain loses access to blood and oxygen. So that's vascular dementia. There's dementia with Lewy bodies, which is kind of like a combination between Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. Then there's Alzheimer's disease, and then there's dementia unspecified, which will likely be categorized as Alzheimer's disease or something like that. So that's the difference. So dementia is the broad category of basically loss of cognitive functioning as we age, or caused by, dementia can be caused by traumatic brain injury, insulin resistance, which is a fancy way of saying type 2 diabetes. That increases the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease and so forth. Let me go through comments here. Miss Perkins, very interesting. I have this on anemia, and maintaining magnesium is difficult for me. So, a great point. I take magnesium multiple times a day in multiple different forms. I have magnesium powder that I put in my smoothies. I take magnesium as liquid drops throughout the day in my water. I take magnesium threonate or glycinate before bed. I eat magnesium-rich food. I do all kinds of stuff to do magnesium. I hope that's helpful. Hopefully that helps with your brain fog. Thank you. My grandmother passed from Lewy body dementia. I'm very sorry to hear that. It's very difficult. Any supplements that stacks like brain mood? I'm sorry, golfer one. I don't know what that's referring to. Supplement stacks. So I like zinc and magnesium. Those are really valuable. Those are great. Most of us are deficient in those. Also, I like curcumin. Curcumin is terrific. As well as lion's mane. These are in the supplement category. And then for nootropic stacks, I like caffeine with L-tyrosine and aniracetam. Those are terrific. Add alpha GPC, a B vitamin, and fish oil, and that totally rocks. So let me say that again. This is one of my favorite stacks if you want to improve how you feel and how you think during the day. So coffee, caffeine, or matcha. This increases your sensitivity to dopamine. So that's caffeine. L-tyrosine is a precursor to dopamine, so that increases dopamine. Then add aniracetam plus alpha GPC. Aniracetam increases acetylcholine. Alpha GPC is a precursor to acetylcholine. Add a B vitamin. B vitamins help you make, specifically B6 and 12, help you make serotonin and dopamine. Add fish oil. That's great for healthy fats for the brain. MCT oil is immediately turned into energy for the brain. So that's really terrific. I have a question. Where did I get my PhD? So I started my PhD at the University of Texas at Austin, and then I finished it online. Is there a supplement that combines all of them? No, I don't think so. That could be a big seller. Selenium. Yeah, selenium's great. I take selenium in the mornings as well as at night. Selenium, like other minerals, you want to take it on an empty stomach, and that's really helpful for absorption. You don't want to take too much. There is selenium toxicity, but that's only from supplementation. You can also get your daily dose of selenium by basically taking a couple Brazil nuts. Let's see here. Any other questions that I can be helpful with? Deeply struggling with chronic nerve pain. Suggestions. So I recommend working with a functional or integrative medicine doctor, someone who specializes in your issue and considers the whole body as a whole system. The challenge with a lot of medicine today is it's very specialized. And so, an osteopath is going to look at your bones, a neurologist is going to look at your brain and your nerves, and a gastroenterologist is going to look at, your gut. The challenge is they're all related. So Dr. David Perlmutter and Dr. Stephen Gundry often talk about the importance of gut health as it relates to overall health. This is a really big deal. And so if you have a health challenge, go to see a medical doctor or a healthcare practitioner who understands that the whole body is related to each other. So what you eat, your gut health relates to a lot of different things, because you don't want to just work on a health challenge through one avenue. You want to understand the body holistically. So I recommend functional integrative medicine doctors. They usually see the body as a whole, and that's really helpful. I tried your suggestion of tyrosine and pour over coffee. Wow. All right. Good job, user 40954046517444. Great job. I'm glad that worked out. And I recommend cycling caffeine. That means maybe you do caffeine 2 days in a row and then do decaf coffee. That keeps us sensitive. So I don't take Adderall every day. I don't take much every day. I don't even take curcumin every day. So you want to cycle on and off, especially nootropics, to keep sensitive. And that can be really helpful. Like your info, just can't keep up. Sorry, Valstar. Well, you can watch the replay, take notes. I have nerve pain resulting from magnesium and vitamin D deficiency. Well, if you know that, I recommend ideally you follow your doctor's recommendation and take more magnesium and vitamin D. Dr. Stephen Gundry said that you can basically take 5 to 10,000 IU of international units of vitamin D a day. He's done that for a long time, and he has not gotten vitamin D toxicity. Of course, check with your medical doctor first. Not giving you medical advice. He said on a podcast with, I think, either Lewis Howes or Tom Bilyeu, 10,000 IU a day is safe for most people to take. And then magnesium and vitamin D work together. I believe vitamin D helps you bring in magnesium into the bones, and calcium's in there somewhere. But vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin K are all involved in bone health. You want to take those together if you can. So if you have a deficiency, please supplement those and eat healthy food and take your supplement. You take your vitamin D supplement with fat. Natalie, you're amazing. You're the only one I've seen on social media really talking about these keys. Why, thank you so much, Natalie. I don't think I'm the only one, and I'm glad that I'm providing information that you find is helpful, and I hope it's helpful to help you have the information you need to live a healthier life. Should you only get natural vitamin D or supplement? Supplementation is dangerous. So I think it depends on your skin tone. About 40% of white Americans, and I think it's 70% of black Americans are deficient in vitamin D because we live indoors. We spend a lot of time indoors. To get adequate vitamin D, I think if you are light-skinned, is 20 to 30 minutes of full skin exposure, I think a couple times a week. And this depends upon how sunny it is and so forth. And this is between the hours of 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now there's a cost to that. One, time, and number two, the skin exposure, the sun exposure can age your skin. I think most of us would benefit from vitamin D supplementation. I believe it's very, very safe. According to Stephen Gundry, you can take 10,000 IU a day. He's done it for years without toxicity. So if you've had vitamin D toxicity, definitely talk with your medical doctor, see if vitamin D supplementation is right for you. I don't think it's dangerous. I think most of us would benefit from it. Dr. Gundry mentioned most of the people who come into his clinic have a vitamin D deficiency. So definitely consider that. Are there supplements for kids with ADHD? So first of all, the things I talk about, these are for healthy adults. Children are different. And so I want to be really careful about what I say regarding children. Now, I took Ritalin when I was as young as third grade, and I've been on stimulant medication since then. I think it's really dangerous to give children stimulant medication without first trying, number one, exercise, number two, breaks throughout the day, number three, removing phones and getting them really good sleep. I would start there. I think I'm shorter than I would be had I not taken Ritalin as a kid, because it reduces appetite, and that's a really big deal for a growing child. I think it can interfere with sleep. It also teaches children the answer is a pill rather than working through something. So I'm really cautious about, if I had a child with ADHD, I would not give them stimulant medication until they were fully grown. That's for darn sure. If I were, and I'm going to give my advice, not as advice, but what I would do, I would also, if I had to give my child supplements, I would start with magnesium and zinc and make sure they're eating really healthy, getting all their natural nutrients. And Fiber, make sure their gut health is really good. And then I'd start with L-tyrosine. I might do aniracetam, maybe, but I'd also do alpha GPC, which is a choline precursor. Choline's involved in memory. I'd have them exercising throughout the day. So every 50 minutes in the classroom, I'd say, teacher, have them run for 10 minutes every hour. So set a timer. After 50 minutes in the classroom, hey, little Bobby, go outside and run for 10 minutes. Come back, tell me what you learned in the last hour, and sit still for 50 minutes, and then you're going to run again in another 50 minutes. So exercising basically every 50 minutes for 10 minutes. I would do that before giving a child medication. So that's what I would do. And then L-tyrosine is an amino acid. That can be helpful. That might be safer than stimulant medication. I don't know. I strongly suspect so. Alpha GPC is a choline precursor. That's likely very safe for children. Of course, check with your medical doctor, your pediatrician. So that's my thought on stimulant medication for children. Curcumin. Hello, is it curcumin? So curcumin is great. Curcumin helps prevent the accumulation of amyloid plaque in the brain in studies of mice and rats. Really, really great. I take it. I have my parents take it. I think that is one of the safest things you can possibly take that has tremendous benefit. No, there is a slight downside. It does decrease testosterone, only mildly so. I've taken curcumin for over a year. And I haven't noticed a decrease in energy, which is how I would likely notice a decrease in testosterone. So I think curcumin is very, very safe for most people, generally speaking. You want to take it with a fat and take it with black pepper to increase absorption. Let me read through some more comments here. Mom has early onset dementia, and so did her dad. What's the best thing I can do to help prevent? Really good question, Zen Phoenix 17. I will answer you as soon as I can. Excuse me. So first, I recommend, if you are concerned about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, I recommend everyone get the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen, MD. Read it and implement it. That's got the best cutting edge science on brain health, and how to prevent Alzheimer's disease. He's reversed Alzheimer's in 230 documented cases. Not reversed Alzheimer's, reversed cognitive decline. So he's reversed memory loss in 230 documented cases, not specifically Alzheimer's disease. But these people had memory impairment, and they were old people. So it sounds like you have early onset dementia in your family. I'm really sorry to hear that. I think you're doing the right thing getting started early. I would optimize your health. Specifically, exercise. Find exercise you really like doing. Do it every day for the rest of your life and love it. That's the number one thing. According to the Journal of Neurology, exercise is the number one thing that you can do to prevent Alzheimer's disease. Number two, really high quality sleep. Get a regular bedtime, stick with it, tell people who you socialize with, I go to bed at this time, and please help me do that. If you're partnered or married, please make sure your partner's on board with that. Next, I would develop a morning routine where you wake up at around the same time, drink water, get outside, get sunshine in your eyes. This is from Dr. Andrew Huberman, Stanford neuroscientist. He talks about the importance of getting sunshine early in the day to set your circadian rhythm. Walk early in the day, it gets you some exercise, and it reduces stress, anxiety, and eat a really good diet. I don't know what that specifically is for you. For me, that's low in carbs, it's high in plant fiber, and eat lots of organic food. Non-organic food is often sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. Those can be neurotoxins like glyphosate, which is Roundup. So you want to avoid that because those can hurt your brain cells. So I would start with that Zen Phoenix 17 and keep it up for the rest of your life. At this point, it's 2022. I believe that if you are below 60 and in good health, you can live to be beyond 100. You could live to be 110 if you start today and do activities and eat food and supplements and sleep well and do your exercises. You can live a really long time based upon the progression of science and the progression of longevity medicine. And so Zen Phoenix, if you do the right things, I think you can really prevent Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And also I'd recommend anti-inflammatory supplements like curcumin, like cinnamon. Cinnamon actually improves memory as well as prevents inflammation. And I'm sorry, I just got a message. Someone sent me the finger. I don't know what that means. I'm new to TikTok Live. And then MCT oil. Women do better with MCT oil powder. It's better on their digestive tract. MCT oil powder quickly MCT oil is basically turned into ketones or ketone bodies by the liver, and that then goes to the brain as energy. As we age, our brain is less able to use glucose as energy, so there's this energy deficit. And so a way to overcome that deficit is to get more energy from fat, from ketones. And so I recommend having 1 to 3 tablespoons of MCT oil a day to bridge that gap, and see if that's helpful. If you take too much MCT oil, you can get disaster pants. Ooh, someone sent me a hand heart. Thank you. And disaster pants from Dave Asprey is what he describes as diarrhea. So you don't want that. So try a powder or try going slowly with your MCT oil or MCT oil powder. Is MCT oil better than omega-3? They're not better, they're different. So this is from that girl, Mimi333. MCT oil versus omega-3. Omega-3 are it's an essential fatty acid. There's omega-6 and omega-3. Both of them are essential. Most of us with our Western diet get too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3. Omega-3, think fish oil, think coconut oil. Actually, coconut oil does not have omega-3s. Think avocados, think flaxseed, think chia seed. These are healthy oils that you use to make healthy brain cells. Your cell membranes are made out of fat. So Dave Asprey says, do you want a fish oil brain or do you want a French fry brain? I want a brain made out of fish oil. So if you want healthy brain cells and healthy cell membranes throughout your body, eat healthy fats. Bad fats get incorporated into cells when you eat them, and then that's not good, so you don't want that. MCT oil is less likely to be used as fat to make a cell membrane. It's more likely to be used as energy, as I just described. So MCT oil is turned into ketone bodies by the liver. That then goes to the brain, and that's used as energy in the brain. The first time I took MCT oil, I immediately had like this mild headache. I could feel the energy getting to my brain. It was really cool. Excuse me. So they're different. Take both of them. You need omega-3